Good afternoon, good morning, good night. Welcome back to the How Does This Work podcast. I am your host, Antoine Lance. Be sure to give me a follow on Twitter at _Antoine Lance. That is ANTWANLANCE. How's everybody doing? We are coming off of another weekend, which to this point, I don't know how the weekend went yet. As you know, I like to get ahead of I have a schedule. I like to get ahead of my schedule, and so sometimes I pre-record things. So this was recorded on a Friday, but you won't hear it until Monday. So in advance, I'm gonna pray that you had a wonderful weekend and that everything went super gravy. I hope that nothing bad happened to anybody in the whole world. I hope that nothing bad happened to anyone this weekend. I know that that's not the most reasonable goal, especially in these times. As you all know, there's still protesting and rioting and things like that taking place. But hey, those are just consequences of years of not listening to people's demands and what people wanted. And it's not like people were making unreasonable requests, but sometimes what people want, what they require, it goes unheard. And if things go unheard for a long enough time, you end up with unrest, and you find yourself in situations like we're in right now in America. And I saw somewhere now where there's been protests in all 50 states, which to me is beautiful. And I think there's been protests in 18 different countries, which again I think is beautiful. A lot of people look at that. Well, I won't say a lot of people, a certain sect of people look at that and they're embarrassed because they see the rest of the world looking at America and, saying, hey guys, what are you doing? And yes, that's what's happening. The rest of the world is looking at what is supposedly the leader of the free world and trying to figure out, why does this keep happening in your country? And it's not like other countries don't have their own issues and things like that, but I think we can all kind of agree that this has been an issue in America for forever since the birth of the country. And I think it's great that we're finally beginning to see things that may affect change in the world. But I hope that prayerfully going into this weekend, you all have a great weekend. I hope it's fun. I hope you get to do some fun things, and I also hope that while you are doing those fun things, you stay safe. You practice social distancing. Do not forget that yes, there are social injustices being fought right now, but COVID-19 still exists. It is still a thing. We're not out of the water with this just yet. Don't think that. Don't think just because it's starting to get hot that this is just going to die and go away. That's not how this works. Things aren't, back to, or at least they shouldn't be. They're not back. They shouldn't be back to what they once were. I've even seen in some restaurants in the Columbia area that decided to reopen once Governor McMaster decided that it was cool for us to begin to reopen things. They've now reclosed. So congratulations, you wasted a bunch of time and money, but they don't really see people's safety like that. They just, they see bottom line dollar bills. But I hope you had a great weekend. I'll say this, the end of my week was not the greatest. Thursday, my brother graduated high school, and I was super proud of that. So that was a wonderful, amazing. I didn't get to go, which is pretty jank, but because they limited each graduate to 2 tickets, which is pretty garbage. Originally, what happened is they actually weren't gonna have a graduation, and then they were gonna have a graduation, but they were only going to give 2 tickets, and then they told everyone that they were going to allow 4 tickets, and then a few days right before the graduation, they said, "Oh, actually, that was a mistake. We were only thinking about that. We didn't mean to actually go forth and tell people that." So yeah, a little bit of a roller coaster there. So I didn't actually get to go and see my brother graduate, but they did live stream it, so I did watch it. So like I said, very proud of him. But later that day, I received a call from my place of employment, and it was a lady from HR. And at first, I was like, dang, they're going to bring me back to work. I had just been, I'm really starting to, or I'll miss not being able to just kind of hang out around the house all day. So I get that call, and I answer the call, and then they're like, the HR lady, she's like, all right, hold on. Let me get Scott, which is my, he's a manager. It's like, he's a manager. And so then I'm like, whoa, this conversation might not be going the way that I think it was going. So long story short, I ended up being laid off from my job on Thursday due to the lack of business from COVID-19. And my reaction was not what I think most people's reaction to being laid off in the middle of a pandemic would be. Initially, obviously, I was a little bit sad because I do enjoy the people that I work with. I think I've said that before. I like a lot of my coworkers. I like my manager. It's a really good place to work. But I initially really did not feel anything. Like I said, I was kind of sad. Obviously, it's not really a fun thing to be told that you're going to be laid off, but there are casualties with things like this, and I happen to be a casualty, and I am perfectly okay with that. And in the moment, I just kind of thought to myself, and I told my girlfriend, I was like, hey, I got laid off, and she's like, oh man, I'm so sorry, and blah blah blah. And I was just like, I'm pretty okay. Again, it sucks to be laid off, but I don't know. I do know. I realized that I'm at such a different place in my life now, to the point where I got some, I mean, that's pretty bad news. Like, I got laid off, and it kind of sucks. It really sucks. I've reached a point in my life where I have so much faith in God that it didn't really affect me all that much, Like, again, it sucks, and I was upset a little bit, but I never once for a second panicked. It was never a thing of, oh man, now I don't have a job. How am I going to pay my bills? I haven't been to work in 3 months, and I haven't missed any payments on any bills. Paid off a couple of credit cards, honestly. And this is just I'm only in this moment, I'm only talking monetarily, because that's what is important to a lot of people, is their, how they are financially. And it was just kind of like, dang, I got laid off. Oh well, like I didn't panic. I didn't really feel anything. I wasn't like, I have to go find another job now, blah blah blah. There was none of that. I was very calm. Even the two managers that I had to talk to, I feel like they didn't want this. So I'll just like throw this out there. They didn't want this. I worked at Toyota, Fred Anderson Toyota. It's such a great company. They did a lot. Once things started to get really bad, they really stepped up and they really did a lot. But so kudos to them. Shout out to the Anderson family. They are great people. They really did a lot to help cover anyone who was affected by this, and out of pocket. They did a lot out of pocket, their pockets. So I'm really grateful to them for taking care of me the way that they did. Great place. But back to faith, because that this episode is about faith. I don't think I said that. I just kind of want to talk about my faith and what it's done for me, in the hopes that you can hear it, and I hope that you realize how sincere I am while I speak about it, and I hope that it can translate to something in your life, your personal individual life. But yeah, I got laid off. Like I said, I really wasn't stressed. I'm not stressed about it now. I won't be stressed about it when you hear this. Your faith is so ultra important in everyday life. I've gone, and it's so crazy, because as I look back on things that I have gone through in the past, and I can't even really fathom at this point. I don't know how I made it through. I made it through those things because God graced me through those things. But now going through anything is so much easier. And I'm not like, it's not easy. I'm not saying, oh, I lost my job. Oh, well, like, all I'm saying is that my faith in recently has it's just been like things have been happening in life where if I didn't have the faith that I don't, or that if let me reword that, if I didn't have the faith that I have now, I don't know how I would get through things. In the past, when there would be random, acts of police violence, I would get really upset, and a lot of that anger, I would just let it fly, and that's not. I mean, I would let it fly, but in I wouldn't channel it through the correct, responses, and so a lot of my frustration and anger with situations would just come out wrong, or they would be directed at the completely wrong thing. And I'd really thank God for gracing me through those things so that I could learn from that and realize that it's okay to be frustrated and upset, and as long as you just have to channel those feelings through a filter. But that's not, I don't want to go too much into that. But I've just been like, okay, let's just go give examples. That's the best way to explain this. Your faith is so important to you. About a week and a half ago, there were 2 cases of COVID-19 at my workplace at the time, and they were people I knew. And so you could look at this whole furlough thing as, oh, you're not working, blah, blah, blah. I look at it as I was graced to not be there and not have to come in contact with COVID-19. That's how I look at it. Like, I literally look at everything like that now. And you kind of have to. Just last week, someone in my department was diagnosed with COVID-19. The first time that someone was diagnosed with it, they closed the dealership for 2 days. Again, because financial stability is so important to some people. That would have been 2 days. I just would have been out of work, and my paycheck wouldn't have been what it was supposed to be. The second time where someone tested positive, same thing, closed for 2 days. Like, I just look at it as I've been graced by God to not have to deal with those things. Like, he didn't, I didn't have to deal with those things. And that, like, I think that's what faith can do for you. Your faith can put you in situations like that, or your faith can take you out of bad situations. I said it, I guess it was last week. I don't really remember at this point. I had a job interview, and then a week and a half later, I got laid off from my current job. And like, I had a job interview in the middle of a pandemic where no one's hiring right now. Like, if I didn't have the faith that I do have, I don't believe those opportunities would have been available to me. I truly, truly don't. And that's why, like, you have to have faith. You have to have some faith. And I trust me, I understand why having faith for a lot of people can be difficult, because how do you believe in something that you don't see? I truly, truly get that. But it's about so much more than seeing. Believing in things that you see, like, they tell you all the time, don't believe everything you see. There are just some things you aren't going to see. And that's the way God is. And you have to accept that. You have to accept it. There are just certain things you aren't going to see, but you got to come to a place in your life where you can just be like, I've tried it this way. I've tried it their way. I've tried it that way. None of that worked. I'm going to try it your way, God. And that to me has been the single best decision that I've made in my life. It's just saying, you know what? I'm done trying stuff my way. It's not working out. I'm going to put my faith in you. Since then, I'm not going to say life has been easy, because it hasn't. Trust me, there's another side to this where it doesn't get any easier and the attacks don't stop. But because of your faith in God, he will grace you through them. That's the great part. Like, you end up in battles that you're already going to win, and you're already going to win them. You just got to be there. Like, you literally just have to be there. And it's a really great thing. It truly is. I wish it were easier to, like, explain that to people. But we live in a society where I don't think everyone is, I don't really want to say smart enough, but I think we live in a society where there's so much stuff and there's so many distractions that we overlook the easy choice. We look at it like, wow, it can't be that easy, but it is. It's really that easy. And I think like earlier in life, I've always been a pretty hopeful person. I think I like in my being positive episode, I think I talked a lot about staying hopeful. There's a difference between hope and faith. Like, it's cool to be hopeful. You should always be hopeful. Don't ever lose hope. You can never lose hope. Hope is a great thing to have. But there's a difference between hope and faith. Like, I look at it as a lot of hope is a mindset. To be hopeful for things is a mindset. I think being faithful is a posture almost. It's a, I don't really know how to describe it. You can be hopeful and you can say hopeful things. I think you have to feel faith. Like you have to just feel faith is the best way that I know how to explain it. It's probably not, that's probably a terrible explanation. If it's a terrible explanation, let me know that I explained that poorly and I'll try again next time to explain it better. But like hope can only take you so far. And that sounds, very counterproductive to my never lose hope message. Hope is really only going to take you so far. At some point you have to start faith. You have to believe, that, yeah, sure, you can't see certain things, but just know that things are being worked on. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that's a terrible, terrible explanation. Again, let me know that that's a bad explanation, and I'll try again. Like we can converse about this on Twitter, and I will try again to break it down and explain what I'm attempting to say. Like, all right, I'll try it this way. Hope, you can hope that you don't get into a bad situation. With faith, you're going to get into a bad situation, and you also know that you're going to get through that bad situation. There's expectation attached to faith. Hope is just, man, I hope that this doesn't happen. Maybe that one made more sense. I think that kind of made more sense. Again, I don't know. Let me know if it did or didn't. But yeah, like, hope is cool. You should always be hopeful. Always remain hopeful. Faith is it's a whole different level of hope. Like I said, you can hope things will be all right all the time. Faith implies that things are going to be all right. Like, there's no wavering or, wondering, oh, well, maybe things aren't going to work out. There's none of that when with faith. Like, that's not what faith is. And like I said, I know it's not easy because believing in something that you can't see, I understand, not getting that. But to me, this is kind of what did it for me. I was in a very depressive state at a time in life, and I had tried so many other things to get out of that, and none of them worked. And I went to church one day, and that right there, I was like, okay, I don't know what this is, but all I know is that I feel different, and I like the way that I feel. So we'll give this a try. And to this point in life, it works. I can tell you it works. I can guarantee you it works. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Most things in life that are worth having aren't easy, but like I can attest to being faithful and maintaining faithful. Like, it's not enough sometimes to be faithful for a little bit. And that used to be me too, where I would have a little bit of faith and things would work for a while. And then if anything started to go left, as things started to go more left, my faith level started to drop more. And I would just get back to this place of, man, nothing's ever going to change and blah, 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 blah. And it's almost like resetting. Like, I start back from zero and I have to work my way back up, and then something will happen and I'd fall back down. And I don't think that's necessarily like a bad thing. I think we all go through that. Like, we all go through moments where it's hard to maintain faith. And I understand that because I've been there. So, if you're in a season where you are going through something like that, trust me, it'll get better. Like, you won't always be like that. You won't always be in that place. You're just being tested, and there's nothing wrong with being tested. You have to be tested. You have to be tested, because if you do have faith and you never get tested, your faith will never really grow. Like, I believe the testing is what grows your faith. That's just like, that's just what I think. That's what I've experienced. That's the things that I've gone through. And that's all I can give you is my experiences. You know, you can take what I say, but you have to live your own experiences and, you know, figure these things out on your own. And I think your faith will definitely, like, it'll bolster a lot of what or not bolster. It'll give you something to bolster too as you're going through things in life. As you go through life, you know, you go through things, and some things are very tough, but you know, you live long enough to realize that none of that stuff killed you. None of it killed you. If you know, and I believe, like, if you go through things with faith being your weapon of choice, you'll only come out stronger. That's the only option. Like I said, I got laid off. I'm all right with that. I'm okay, because I don't believe that God would allow me to be laid off in the middle of a pandemic and not have some sort of provision. Either, you know, the provision that I currently have, or, you know, something lined up for me already. And once this provision runs out, like, I don't believe that God would allow that to happen to any believer. And obviously you go through seasons where sometimes maybe you don't have as much, and some of those seasons are self-inflicted because, you know, we don't give the Lord our 10%, or we don't do certain things that are required of us. But there are just some times where, yeah, you're going to go through seasons where you don't have as much, and that's just the way it is. But you trust and believe that there will also be seasons where you'll have it. You'll be good. And that's all attached to faith. Like, it's all attached to your faith. Since I have started to delve more into my faith and you know, allow your faith to be tested more, and just kind of roll with the punches as I've gone through that more in life. Like I said, life has not gotten easier in all aspects, but there are certain aspects of my life that have improved and are getting better and continue to get better. Like, I've been straight this whole quarantine pandemic thing. I haven't had to worry about too much. I just been cooling. I just been hanging out. Like, being quarantined has afforded me the opportunity to do so many things that I wanted to do for such a long time, but let life be my excuse for not doing those things. And I'm so thankful that I have been afforded the opportunity to, you know, go after this podcast. And I'm super thankful for all the downloads. Like, I'm almost at 100 downloads, which, again, not a whole lot to a whole lot of people, but to me, it means the whole world. Like, that means that people are willingly taking time out of their schedule to listen to what I have to say. And I'm so thankful for that. I thank you for listening, and I hope you continue to listen. Like, I truly do. And I hope we can, like, grow. I hope we can all grow together and build a community. Like, that's why I want everyone who listens to, like, you know, like, talk to me on Twitter. Like, let's talk on Twitter. Twitter is really my main means of social media. Like, I have an Instagram. I have a Facebook. I don't really be on Facebook like that, but, like, I only get on Facebook really now at this point for church stuff, and to, you know, catch people's live streams who are doing things that I find cool or important. But I don't really be on Facebook. That's why I'm on Twitter a lot. So that's why, you know, that's every episode I make sure, yeah, like, here's my Twitter. Like, if you do have questions, ask me. If you want to talk about stuff, you know, like, let's talk, because I love to have these types of conversations with people. I love to be helpful. Like, I love helping people. And if I can help anybody listening in any way, then by all means, like, send me your questions, comments, concerns, all that stuff. And I will do my best. I promise I'll do my best to get you answers. Like, I pinky promise. If I don't have the answer right then, I will find it for you. I'll try. But yeah, you have to faith. That's what I was talking about. You have to maintain your faith. And I see a lot of people and this used to be me. This used to be me. I used to get really tired of being tested. Like, I used to hate having my faith tested by whatever, because I'd be like, man, I'm tired of this. I want things to change now. Like, that was me. And you have to realize that's not how life works. You have to realize, like, you're going to be tested. You're going to be tempted by things. even Satan tried to tempt Jesus. Like, so if our Lord and Savior was tested, yeah, obviously we're going to be tested, because we're not even in iota, of what he is. So if he can be tested, then yeah, we if he can be tested, we will absolutely be tested. Faith, it's so important. It is very important, and it's really hard to understand or to explain to people who don't, like, who aren't in that situation or in that season. Like, I can't really explain. I mean, off the rip, I'm not the best person to try and explain faith, but even if I was, I don't know how useful I would be at, breaking it down. But at the same time, in the same breath, I have faith that if someone asked me about it and I didn't have the answer, I have faith that God would give me the answer, and then I would explain it to them and it would make sense. Like, that's the way I look at it. But yeah, like, it's so important. It's so important. Man, I tell you, it would make a lot of, if I had the faith now, or if I had the faith that I have now, like 4 years earlier in life, I'd be in a completely different place, and I'd already have the #1 podcast on iTunes and all kinds of stuff. But it wasn't my season, and that's okay. I'm perfectly fine with that. You have to grow into certain things. Like, this was something I had to grow into. And I mean, I think I'm growing into it fairly nicely. I don't know what you guys think. I think I'm growing into it. Like, I think my episodes are improving. I know my audio quality has gotten a million times better. I play with it enough. Like, I tinker with sound quality so much, but you don't need to hear all that. That's neither here nor there. Faith, man, you gotta get some. It's free. It's free 99. Like, it doesn't cost you a penny. It costs you a little bit of time. That's it. Just a little bit of time. But that's all I got. That's all I got for you guys today. I hope that, like, I always, with shows and stuff like that, you always try and do like a your best show on like a Friday, so you send people out the right way. I want to start people's weeks off the right way. Hopefully, you hear this on Monday and it speaks to you. I hope it speaks to you. I hope you take something from it, run with it, roll with it, rock with it, all that good stuff. But yeah, that's all I got. Like I said, I think everyone that's listened, we're almost at 100 downloads, so that's amazing. Yeah, make sure you tweet me stuff. Like, let's talk. It doesn't even have to be about anything. We could talk about anything in the whole world. I love to talk. If you want to talk about sports, we can talk about sports. If you want to talk about what's going on in the world, we can talk about that. If you want to ask me what my favorite color is, go for it. Like, I won't even tell you right now, just so in the event that someone does tweet me and ask me what my favorite color is, I won't look like a liar. But yeah, man, I don't really have anything else. I hope that, like I said, I hope this starts your week off right. I hope that this will get you off on the right foot. Mondays are tough, so hopefully this can make your Monday a little bit easier. If no one's told you today, I love you. You matter. COVID-19 still going on, so everybody stay safe. Let's have a great week. I will talk to you all on Wednesday.